There's a soldier on a mission here in Canada. His mission? To walk from the Pacific Ocean to Ottawa. His journey began weeks ago, the waves of the Pacific lapping at his feet. He paused briefly in silent contemplation at the Terry Fox Memorial, shouldered his rucksack, and began his journey. It took him weeks in the dead of winter to cross the Rocky Mountains. A physically arduous task I cannot imagine myself. Weeks later, 1,000 kilometers later, he emerged from the foothills of the mountains in Alberta, only to find he had just gained a certain notoriety. The independent press was there. They were interested in his story, what motivated him. And the people came out in the streets to talk to him, to support him, to gain strength from him. And he said, well, I am happy to tell you my story, but please don't slow me down. I have a deadline. He wants to be in Ottawa on or around June 22nd, his mother's birthday. And he has to maintain 40 kilometers a day to meet that objective. But he finds the journey a little bit easier now. He has no problems with sustenance when he needs some. Hearts and hearths are open to him. Everybody's door is open. Do come in, sir. Have lunch with us. And the same at night when he stops. No problem finding a place to hang his hat. His challenge as he crosses the Great Plains will now move from physical to mental, as the horizon, the endless horizon, I'm sure will seem never to come any closer. When he rises in the morning, the sun will be in his face. In the afternoon, at his right shoulder. And in the evening, behind him. As stride after stride after stride, he carries his message in his rucksack to Ottawa. Weeks from now, he will arrive in northern Ontario. His barrier then, the Canadian Shield, a land of endless lakes, rocks, trees, little else. Oh, except for the bugs, the hordes of bloodthirsty bugs he'll have to wade through. But he is, after all, a soldier on a mission. There's no doubt in my mind, when he comes down into the Ottawa Valley, below him he will see a sea of red and white, the Canadian flag flying. And there's also no doubt in my mind, at that point were he to turn and look behind him, he will see the same sea of red and white flags and a veritable army at his heels. What will you do, Mr. Trudeau, when this man walks up to Parliament? We know what you did when a 5'1" grandmother showed up to toot her horn. You fled, you hid, you pulled out the Emergencies Act, violating our rights and freedoms, our Constitution, Charter of Rights, the Bill of Rights. What will you do when this man arrives, Mr. Trudeau? He has a message for you. And he will have the nation behind him when he arrives there. Excuse me. This man's name is James Topp. He served in the armed forces for our country for 28 years. You can see him on the internet, CanadaMarches.ca. Canada Marches, one word. This man's name is James Topp. He's a Canadian legend in the making. He's carrying a message that sorely needs to be heard in Ottawa.